very solid.
Ah!
Like how all the slides is for
I
a
just
toy.
got
Have you
revived,
noticed?
mother.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Here, I'll drop.
Hey everyone, my name is Pixelicious, and today we're going to be talking about the latest game in the Poppy's Playtime franchise, Project Playtime, developed by Mob Games Entertainment. Before we get started, let's go ahead and talk about that subscribe button down there looking kind of lonely. Go ahead and click that, and don't forget the little lonely notification bell if you want to be notified anytime I post a new video. With all that said, let's go ahead and jump into this new asymmetrical horror game. Hey everyone, so today we're going to be talking about Project Playtime, which is the newest adventure of Mob Games Entertainment, exploring and going deeper into the lore of Poppy's Playtime. If you don't know what Poppy's Playtime is, it's basically a linear horror survival game where you, as an ex-worker of Playtime Co, are invited back into the factory to explore and figure out the mystery as to what happened to all the missing workers. The first chapter is free to play on Steam. I recommend giving it a try. It is quite fun. Chapter 2 might cost you a few bucks. If that's something you can spare, again, I recommend it, or you can wait for it to go on sale on Steam. So you're probably wondering what Project Playtime is, right? If you haven't already heard about all the hype around it. It's basically a 6v1 asymmetrical survival horror game where you and 5 other players playing as toy extractors are there to explore the factory, gather toy parts by solving puzzles. You can go ahead and collect your toy part, you deposit it into a machine. Once all 6 toy parts have been gathered, everyone should gather up, pull down the tube, and then you can escape on the train. If you are playing the toy role, such as Huggy Wuggy, Mommy Longlegs, or Boxy Boo, your goal is to use your powers to down all the extractors and throw them into vents so they can have their fun time with the different multicolored Huggy Wuggies. Project Playtime released on December 12th, 2022. I instant installed at 9 a.m. my time. And I immediately hopped in, and you are greeted with a pretty easy going tutorial for Extractor and followed by the toy tutorial. These tutorials are pretty decent, but they don't necessarily cover everything you might experience on either side. I do recommend everyone give the tutorial definitely a try, and of course hop into some custom games with your friends so you can get a feel for both sides. That is, if you're lucky enough to even get a chance to play the toy role. Because in this game, when you get into a game, the toy role, the single role, is chosen by random. So first thing I'm going to break down is the Extractor role. This is a role where you and 5 other people will play together. You can do this by joining in matchmaking, or if you want to host or join a game, you can also join a game from any of the publicly hosted servers. So I had the opportunity to play in a closed server with my friends, so my experience is probably going to differ from anyone who might be playing on hosted public servers or doing the matchmaking that they give you the option. My experience as Extractor, it was interesting, for sure. You know, oh my god, oh
boy.
Oh, this is hilarious. You're just like so nice. Starting with, you have to find 6 puzzle pillars, and on each puzzle pillar there are 3 small individual puzzles. The first puzzle is going to be a keyboard where you just repeat back what you've shown. It can be a little stressful when you know you have a monster on your tail, but again, I was in comms with my friends who were playing the toy, so it was a little less stressful. Oh no, the monster!
Do I go in box form when I do this?
Yeah, you're only in a box. If you want to see my stream, like, you're just in a box and you're moving, you're like kind of creepy. This is like giving me like prop hunt vibes. The next puzzle that you have to solve as an extractor is more like a reflex kind of a thing. So Basically, you are given these flashes on what looks like one of those Simon Says things that came out in like the 90s, and you have to click the lit up buttons as fast as you can. That one was probably the easiest of the 3 puzzles. The third puzzle on the puzzle pillars is a group of a bunch of lights. They'll light up in a pattern, and after randomizing it a few times, you'll be shown the final pattern twice, and then you have to remember it. This was the hardest puzzle for me, and definitely others that I've talked to. I'm kind of hoping to make changes to it because it was really hard for me to memorize all the flashing lights and the patterns that they were in.
Damn, what a world.
You're fired.
Let's see if Pixel gets this puzzle. Oh my god!
What if he doesn't? Hello? Get back over here,
Funny.
bitch.
Oh, you gonna do it, Pixel?
There we go. Fucking
It's the one to the right.
Also, as an extractor, you are of course being pursued by the giant toy. So with the toy literally on your ass, you have to try to run. You can hide in lockers, but those are really your only defense. It's very, very hard to escape the toy. The toy has to get 3 hits on you, or 2 hits, and then the 3rd hit is a down. There's no way to defend yourself. It's quite hard to kind of loop or run away. The most defensive thing you have is if there is a closable door near you, you can grab onto the door with your grab pack and pull it down, and it blocks them for a handful of seconds. But once a toy knows the map and knows how to get around, it's easy to find a new path to close in on you. The extractor role it's fun. It's not too bad. I want to be definitely more forgiving with this game because it is early access. They're still figuring it out. The base of this game, the skeleton of this game, was discovered in the chapter 2 the program files when chapter 2 released. Data miners were able to find it, so it seems like this game was really pushed out over the last 6 to 7 months. At least on the extractor side, feels very more beta-like in gameplay, and I'll talk more about that here in a bit in the video. It was all right. It was fun. Some of the puzzles are a little frustrating. It feels a little monotonous because each of the puzzle pillars all have the same puzzles. So I would like to see variations between all 6 puzzle pillars if possible to make more engaging different gameplay. Next, I want to talk about the toy role, the single role, the killer role, the monster role, whatever you want to call it. This is going to be the solo role where it's you versus them, 1 versus 6. So the toy role, I played it a couple times and I chose Mommy Longlegs both times. It's pretty fun. The abilities are quite interesting. At least when I played Mommy Longlegs, you had your spider web, which you could shoot at extractor players, and it slows them down, allowing you to catch up and swipe at them. Mommy Longlegs also has a vision ability that when you hold it down for probably by 1.5 seconds, you can see the auras of all the players on the map, but you have to be able to look around quick enough on the map to see where they all are. It doesn't feel like it lasts long enough for me to get enough information. The other ability Mommy Longlegs has, which is my absolute favorite, is if you press the spacebar on the keyboard, you stretch your arm out like a grab pack and you can grab onto any surface, literally any surface, and pull yourself to it. In fact, I even pulled myself to other players, like the extractors, and I was able to pull myself onto them, which was kind of funny. So with that, that was probably my favorite, and that one definitely has the shortest cooldown. I had a lot of fun playing Mommy Longlegs. One thing I wasn't expecting in the toy role was really that I thought it was a one hit and an instant down. You have to hit the extractors 3 times. Now again, this game's in early access, so hitting the players, it doesn't actually feel like you're hitting them. It's not until you get the 3rd hit is when it does the full jump scare, and it does a little bit of an animation of you pulling them in, and it downs the extractor player. The next step is you have to pick them up, and then you have to carry them to a vent or like a locked door, and they'll be marked on your HUD. You carry them over and then you drop them into there where they will play a game of Whack-A-Wuggy. Of course, the Huggies keep coming at you nonstop when you're extractor. It's pretty fun and it keeps you entertained while you're downed. But while you are the toy, you just, once you drop them in there, you can go off and just keep searching for other people. However, where I see an opportunity for tunneling and camping is when you throw someone in one of those vents. That's the only vent the other extractors can go to save them. They can't go to any other vent. They have to go to the one you were dropped in. This could allow a toy to essentially camp that and at least guarantee themselves one kill. But it would also be kind of detrimental to them because it would allow the other 5 players to go in and solve the rest of the puzzles, get all the toy parts, and move on. It can encourage a little bit of proxy camping because sometimes there are puzzle pillars that are near those vents. The overall gameplay of Toy was quite fun. I enjoyed playing Mommy Longlegs and being able to grab onto whatever I want, stick onto anything, and just kind of look around for everyone. It's definitely a fun role. It just kind of sucks because I know in these kind of ASYM games, a lot of people like to queue up as either a monster or survivor. A lot of people like to choose their preferred role. It kind of sucks even when you're gaming in just a lobby with your friends and it's kind of chosen at random, because I was having a lot of fun on the toy role and I would have liked to have played it more than a couple times. I think it's definitely, it was probably more fun than Extractor, honestly. It's a lot of good information when you're playing the toy role. I would probably say it might be overpowered a bit and could use some refining and balancing to it for sure. I didn't get everyone downed in my game. There are going to be people who are going to be playing this game nonstop and will be the most merciless toys in the game. Next, I want to talk about the overall quality of the game. Now, this game is being released as an early access kind of situation. From what I've experienced playing the game, there were so many bugs, so many glitches. As soon as I load up the game, I'm told that I'm disconnected from the server. I'm not sure if that means I can't join other games that are being hosted. I was able to still play with my friends as long as they were hosting and I joined them through Steam. That wasn't an issue. Me and a couple other people were unable to connect to the server and it made it hard to view the battle pass that's been implemented into the game. The overall quality of the game, while it's being released as early access, is more giving me beta testing vibes. It still has a lot of work that needs to be done. Now I understand the base of this game, the skeletal version of this game, was found way back in chapter 2. And it feels like this game might have been rushed out a little bit to make the holiday deadline. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad game, but some of these game-breaking bugs are game-breaking and cannot necessarily mean you're gonna have a good time and can be very frustrating and disappointing. If you're in a game with your friends, it's fine. You wait for them to finish up, move on to the next. If you are choosing to join a randomly hosted public game, or if you're going into the quick play option, it might not be that great of a time, to be honest. I want to go ahead and give my final thoughts of the game. Being a free-to-play game in an early access state, it's really fun. I had a great time being in a private party with my friends, all of us goofing around in comms, trying to figure out the puzzles, making jokes at each other. This is a really fun party game for sure. As for the actual state of the game, while they are advertising it as early access, it's more giving me beta test vibes. I was in the beta test for Video Horror Society, and of course the game is now in early access. That game is very stable and very few problems with it. This game is severely broken. We had sabotages that were breaking the game for us extractors on the toy side. There were things that where, again, people were coming up invisible. With the peer-to-peer, I'm really hoping they add an actual form of matchmaking and, of course, balancing to the game. I do know that there are perks, sabotages, and stuff that you can add to your characters. I didn't play long enough to unlock any of them, but I will be looking into them in more detail. They will be interesting to see how they play into the possible future meta of this game. We know that a lot of PvP games have a meta. I think this game needs to find its niche for sure. It really needs to clean itself up. I can't see myself playing this game all the time, every day for hours on end, and there's no shame. And as if you like it and you can see yourself playing this game all the time, that's awesome. Like, I'd love to see this game succeed as an ASYM, and really I love the fact that they threw their hat into the ASYM ring, because everyone talks about Dead by Daylight, but there's so many other ASYMs, because ASYM's a genre. Dead by Daylight doesn't own the genre. There can be other ASYM games. The genre is growing, and this is another example of this blooming flower that is this really fun, unique gameplay style. I see a bright future for this game in the genre, and I think once it's more refined, I could see myself playing a bit more, but for right now, this is very much a party game. I hope you all enjoyed this video. A fun game, great time. Check it out for yourself. Free to play on Steam. Again, that is Project Playtime. Go check it out for yourselves. Leave your own reviews. Let me know what you think in the comments. Did you have a good time in the game, or was it just not for you? And as always, I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.